seeing ghosts again.
All right, yo, Deep. Let's get into our special treat now. UFC 274.
Don't
You want
leave,
to yeah, go ahead.
no, I said don't leave me out of the UFC. You know I'm in this.
And Harshad, I'm sorry, but you're more of an NFL guy.
Yeah,
so I
yeah,
had to
I get
go
it.
Deep. But Deep, can you introduce the card for me? Let's do our predictions.
So UFC 274, May 7th. Don't buy the pay-per-view, overpriced. But main event, Gaichi versus Oliveira. Featured bouts, Tony Ferguson versus Michael Chandler. And co-main event, Rose Namajunas versus Carla Esparza.
Let's go. Stacked card. I think it's card of the year.
Honestly, I think card of the year will be the June card. I think the June card is probably the most stacked with 4 potential main events. Well, 4 fights that can be main events.
We're not there yet, so let's talk about this right now. And Yash, Manib, I recommend you guys watch these fights. They're gonna be really good because I know you guys aren't the biggest UFC fans.
Yeah.
But let's start off with Justin Gaethje versus Charles Oliveira. As we've seen, Charles Oliveira has been on a tear. He's beaten Michael Chandler, and then he beat Dustin Poirier, 2 great competitors, and he's submitted both of them. He looks dangerous, but we know how dangerous Justin Gaethje is. Justin Gaethje isn't someone you just fuck around with, and I think it's gonna be a really good fight. I know Oliveira gets tagged a lot, as we saw in the Poirier fight. He gets dropped. I don't know. I think Justin Gaethje can drop him, maybe finish him, but then I can also see Oliveira tapping his ass out, and as he's done to other people. So it's a tough one, but for me, my final prediction, I'm gonna take the safer route. I'm gonna go Oliveira wins by submission. What about you guys?
Yeah, honestly, I agree with you too, Prep. I think Oliveira will win by submission, even though Gaethje has proven he has a great pedigree when it comes to wrestling and especially wrestling defense. But I think at the end of the day, he will be taken down just like how he was against Khabib. And seeing how Oliveira has proven that he's got a chin, shown in the Michael Chandler fight and in the Poirier fight where they couldn't finish him, they couldn't knock him out. Even though Gaethje does have more power than them, honestly, I could see Oliveira getting through it, tiring out Justin, and eventually getting the takedown and getting the submission. Even though Gaethje, the only way Gaethje is realistically going to win is by a knockout. Even honestly, if it goes to decision, I still see it being Oliveira. I think Gaethje will eventually be taken down, will be dominated by Oliveira on the ground, and will eventually be submitted by Oliveira.
Yeah, honestly, I see it the same way. Probably by submission, Oliveira. Gaethje's going to have like a really hot start. Like just how Chandler did against Oliveira, but even then, Oliveira recovered and somehow still won that fight. Like, that was insane. But Justin Gaethje is a different beast compared to Michael Chandler. Of course, we've seen him fight. Gaethje did win. But like Oliveira, he's on like a 10. I don't know his win streak. It's something insane though. I think 10 or 11 or something like that. Yeah. Like, I don't know if Gaethje's gonna be able to stop it. Even though he's like insane. I think he's probably the most entertaining fighter right now to watch in the UFC. But I don't see him stopping Charles Oliveira. I think he wins by submission as well.
I think for sure Gaethje is the most entertaining fighter in the UFC. He's the most fan-friendly fighter. You know, he doesn't like to go to the ground. He likes to stay on the feet and knock out people. But him not going to the ground, that's not good for him, because when someone does take him down like Khabib, they're able to tap him out, and that's what Khabib did, and that's what I think Oliveira is going to do to him too. I think he's going to take him down and tap him out. But I think it'll be a great fight, honestly. I think it'll be very enjoyable.
Yeah, anytime Justin Gaethje fights, it's always just a phenomenal fight. So yeah, I can't wait for that one.
I have a question for the guys that don't watch UFC, for Manib and Yash.
Yeah.
As like, I would say casual fans, like, who would you guys rather see a champion who is dominant but submission dominant, wrestling dominant, usually is the more technical fighter, or do you want to see a champion who's ready to go to war at all times, or who's ready to fucking bang, who's having entertaining fights.
Well, you
I like,
already answered your own question. Like,
okay, yeah.
yeah, like
No, you're
there's
good.
not submissions. Yeah, sure, whatever. Like, he's a good fighter, and you watch him, and you're like, yeah, okay, this guy knows what he's doing. He's good at what he's doing. But a guy who wants to, has that mentality, and you see him out there, and he's putting on a good show. Because at the end of the day, this is for entertainment, right?
Mhm.
Entertainment purposes. Do people really want to go out there and just start fighting people? Like, this is for entertainment for others, and they're trying to get paid. And the guy who actually cares about it and cares about the people that's watching it, obviously, I'd much rather see that.
Yeah, I mean, as much as I love Charles Oliveira, he isn't the most entertaining in that division. Meanwhile, I mean, Justin Gaethje is my favorite lightweight, and I think he's by far the most entertaining lightweight. I think he's probably the fan favorite lightweight as well right now. Seeing him as champion would be insane. Like all the fights you can think of with him as champion, like they'd all just be phenomenal fights. So like, I am pulling for him, but Oliveira's probably gonna win it.
Imagine seeing a Justin Gaethje versus Poirier too. Oh my
Oh
god.
my god, that's just gonna be scrap bang bang. Oh, I can't wait if that ever happens.
But another really entertaining, well, two entertaining fighters are going to clash. Two losers, might I add, Michael Chandler and Tony Ferguson. And I'll start off with this one. I think this fight is gonna be another fucking war, like how all Michael Chandler and Tony Ferguson fights are. These are two guys with big hearts. I think bigger than they should have, because they're just hurting themselves at this point. They just do not give up. Both are on some losing streaks right now, but we know how good they really are. But I think Tony Ferguson, sadly, is near the end of his career, as much as he probably doesn't want to admit it. And I think I got Michael Chandler. I got Michael Chandler by decision. I think this will be fight of the night. But yeah, that's my final prediction. What about you guys?
Yeah, I think Chandler's gonna win this fight too. And I don't want to say it, but this might actually be the end of Tony Ferguson. He's clearly not in his prime anymore. He's not the same fighter he used to be. Even though everybody loves him, you got to know when it's time to finally put the gloves down. And I think if he loses this fight, which he most likely will, it's got to be time to put him down.
Yeah, honestly, I agree with what Harshan said. Even though they both are coming off losses, Tony's on a 3-fight losing streak, Michael Chandler's on a 2-fight losing streak. The difference has to be in the quality of their losses. In the loss against Justin Gaethje for Tony, I mean, he got beat up pretty bad. He did have that one moment where he did a leg sweep and got him down, or did an ankle pick and took him down, hit him with the uppercut and knocked him down. But those were realistically the only moments he had in that fight. And even then, he got stopped in the 5th round because he was getting beat up really bad. The one against Oliveira and Dariush, he got Russell dominated, taken down to the ground. Oliveira got a nasty armbar in on Tony, and he didn't tap out, which just goes to show Tony's heart. But honestly, like, he got dominated in his 3 losses, while Michael Chandler, even though he did lose against Oliveira and Gaethje, against Oliveira, he almost became champion. He almost finished Oliveira twice in the 1st round, and against Gaethje, he had fight of the year against Gaethje. So even though they both are coming off losing streaks, I think the quality of those losses, like, there's a big difference.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, all of Tony's losses were bad. Like, I remember I was watching that Gaethje fight live, and it was tough to watch. Like, I didn't even want to watch near the end because like everybody loves Tony, and just seeing him get destroyed like that, like everybody was hoping the fight gets stopped at this point. So yeah, I mean, Tony's clearly out of his prime. It's not looking good heading into this fight.
Yeah, and then we also have the champ, Doug Rose Namajunas versus Carl Esperazza. I'm gonna be completely honest. I'm not too aware of Carl Esperazza, but I've heard she's pretty good. I think maybe Deep might know more about her. How do you think that fight goes down?
I mean, honestly, in the past they did fight. This is a rematch. They fought
Mhm.
back in 2014, if I'm not mistaken, and Carla Esparza did win. She's a great grappler. She has great wrestling abilities. She has great BJJ abilities, and she showed that in the fight against Rose, where she did take down Rose and submitted her. But that happened almost 8 years ago. Rose has clearly developed as a fighter. He clearly developed her mentality. She has, in my opinion, some really good grappling skills, some amazing footwork, some of the best footwork in the UFC, regardless of sex. She has amazing striking. Even though Carla Esparza, she does have the stronger grappling. I think Rose has definitely learned from her mistakes and will be able to keep it standing, and she'll be able to get the finish.